Broadcasting from the depths of outer space.
Hello, I'm alive. I don't know what's going on.
By your command.
Fascinating.
God damn you all to hell!
Nando.
It's the Solo Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another amazing Sci-Fi. From Courtland, and its internet connection is unstable, and I'm from London, and well, this week's podcast we're going to be about for all mankind, and I've 2 days of my and I want more.
Oh, well, okay. Well, just to say that your introduction was somewhat broken up into cyberspace, and you sounded a bit robotic, but I think we've got the idea that the show has started, but that's fine. Thank you, Martin. Nice to talk to you. Hello, Tom.
Hello. How are you doing?
We're okay. As you say, we've had a few technical issues. So it could be those, like I said, I look better now. I've got better lighting. I've got headphones. I've got a better mic and stuff. But we've had all sorts of things with Martin's bandwidth. You look fine, Tom, and you've got the backgrounds. He's got the background.
I'm trying to. I don't know the video. I could only get the the still to work. But I do have it. Yeah, I tried to get the video, tried to download the video, and I couldn't.
Oh, that's no problem.
But
maybe at some point. That's fine. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. So, how you been? You been okay? Sorry, I'm such a words today. You been all right?
Yeah, I've been fantastic. I'm so glad to hear Martin has acquiesced to the demand of watching For All Mankind, and now he is part of the Union of Soviet All Mankind fanatics.
Yeah, I know. It's really good.
I'd just like to say, Tom, thank you for that. I've had 2 amazing days watching that.
Yeah,
cool. Honestly, I never knew that series.
No, me too. Me too.
General public. I do have discovered a diamond there. After I just finished when I finished final episode and 1995, and I thought, come on, where's season 3? It's probably done.
Yeah, it was really good series. Like I said, Tom got me into it a while ago, and I'd never even heard of it, and it turned out to be far better. It's on the level of shows with quality like The Expanse, I think, for characterization. It is actually we let's go straight into it. I mean, obviously, we do the subject now. Let's hit the jingle, and then we'll go into the main discussion of the show. So here we go.
It's the
Solo Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
All right, so let's continue what we're saying. So, it was a really, really clever series. I love alternate ideas of slightly different histories. And, the finale last week, a couple of weeks ago, it was really, really good. And I want to hear now that we can talk openly about it. So obviously people, if they're not seeing it, this is full of spoilers. So just to say, but hopefully by now, most people would have seen at least seen it and actually seen what it's about. So what did you, let's ask you first, Tom, as you're the one that instigated the show. What did you think of the finale and how it went?
I love the finale. It took me into a lot of unexpected places. I was not expecting the sadness of what happened in the airlock.
I thought they were going to survive it.
Yeah. I thought that was a big kick in the chest, as they say. But I absolutely loved it. I loved how they managed to bring together a lot of things that seemed to potentially be meandering around for the season. Like the Apollo Soyuz whole concept, and then there was what was happening on the moon, and then there was some stuff on the home front, and then the issues with the marriages and things like that happening, and problems they were having, and then everything sort of came together in such a way that really made things interesting. And I really liked, a lot of the trailers had shown the concept of teasing guns on the moon and battle on the moon, and I really liked that they didn't disappoint in that regard. It wasn't like, you know, the trailer and the poster had everybody with guns on the moon, and then they only had that for like 2 minutes in the series.
Yeah,
That would have been disappointing, but it was sustained over time, and had some neat stuff going on. I loved it. I was thrilled by it, and just the width and breadth of everything.
Yeah, it was a very sort of fresh sort of take on the idea of space exploration, I was just very surprised at how it went. Actually, I'm going to just quickly disappear for a second. So, Martin, you carry on the conversation for a sec, and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry guys, I'll be right back.
No problem. So, Martin, what was your take as the newcomer to someone who is experiencing it for the first time?
I watched the first episode. It sort of started off like I thought, it was like. Do you remember they mentioned a film like The Right Stuff? I thought we were sort of going down a path, and then somewhere it just went into something else. And I loved the newscasts at the beginning. You know, the minor alterations to history.
Yeah, all that.
Like John Lennon's really still alive, and and like Reagan and these other like political figures across the world in the Soviet Union. It was just sort of the news. I found that the family dynamic, like the family drama, the political drama, and the space, all worked very balanced out. There was no, and I think the second season there was a lot more human emotion, like with his wife when she had that fling and and the characters, how the war in the 60s and the change in the 70s and the 80s, and the music as well really reflected the music. It was a big thing for me. I've really enjoyed this. I've not enjoyed something like this since The Expanse. By the fourth episode, I wanted more. I watched a whole lot.
I'm so glad. My recommendations aren't wasting your time. So I'm so glad you guys liked it. I really started to like the second season when it really became like they're saying things just off the cuff, like, oh, Apollo 79 landed the other day, and they've got space shuttles lined up on the platform. 3 or 4 of them down the line, so you could see.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back, by the way. Sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, hey. So you could see how things were so different, and I love that. There's the first episode, I think, when was it Molly? What's her last name? Molly something. Molly.
She's my favorite character. I like her.
She's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, she runs out to save that guy from Belgium and who's stuck out there. Yeah.
Now the one thing I'm not familiar with all the names. Which one was it? Was Molly the one with the glasses? The one that worked at and she was the one at the end where they said that she was going to be kind of inadvertently involved with the Russian space race.
No. Molly Cobb was the blonde woman who.
Oh, Molly, the one that died.
She was the one who went blind,
right.
or was going blind because she was exposed to the radiation. And she was actually a real person. Molly Cobb was a real person.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's
interesting. It says at the end of the episode,
Yeah.
Oh, I never noticed that.
A little history for you. So the Mercury 7 were male astronauts. Everyone knows about them. John Glenn.
Yeah, sure.
Blah blah blah, etc. Yeah. And alongside them, were a group of female astronauts who trained in parallel. One of them was Molly Cobb. And that's why in the beginning, I think in season 1, when they have the female astronauts, she's sort of sitting in the back because she's been through all this crap before and knows her thing, and she just she knows the drill. But I felt that she was like one of my favorite characters overall, and her husband was such a hoot. He was like the kind of like the hippie, hot smoking artist guy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say the actress who played Molly, she was also in Lost. She was, and she was actually in 2 episodes, Martin, of Goodnight Sweetheart as well.
Yeah, she's English. Yeah, she's English.
Yeah, she was in an English. Have you ever heard of Goodnight Sweetheart, Tom? It was No, it's a comedy series about this guy in the 90s who walks down his aisleway, and he ends up in the 1940s, and he starts a life in the 90s. And it started Nicholas Lyndhurst, who was in Only Fools and Horses, one of our biggest sitcoms over here.
It sounds like Life on Mars. Is that it's similar to Life on Mars?
It has some parallels, but it wasn't that it was a dream. It really was that he was going back. Really good series if ever you want to check it out. It's I've got the entire series.
Kind of stuff.
But yeah, she was in that series, so that's where I recognised her from. But Molly,
she was a real person. She
I never
was
knew that. That's interesting.
She was a real. If you Google her, she was a real person, part of a female parallel to the Mercury 7. And in this timeline, they brought those folks back.
Right.
And if you remember, no one really wanted to bring Molly Cobb back because she was sort of an unknown component. She was very kind of reckless and a little shot from the hip,
right.
But turned out to be exactly what they needed. But overall,
did she actually get into space then, Tom?
Molly? Yeah. Oh, yeah. She
Molly
was the.
Cobb.
No. She never. The real Molly Cobb never made it to space. But to take another historical parallel, the first American female in space, Sally Ride, Dr. Ride, was in this series as well.
Okay.
And she was one of the co-pilots on the Pathfinder mission that went up with Ed Baldwin to stop the Russians. And she was supposedly the designer of the nuclear engine.
Which is on the Pathfinder.
Yeah. I don't know how accurate historically that was, but it was really cool to see her there.
One thing I loved about the series was we saw alternate technology. This reminds me a bit of, and Marty will know this, with Stargate, where technology was starting to get implemented based. Obviously, this one was because it was an alternate to the space race, but it was the same thing where this 1989 or whatever it was, they had the Pathfinder. They had a shuttle which was a much more powerful, slightly more updated version of the actual real space shuttles. I just thought that was really interesting, and I like the fact that the whole series, because America wanted to win the space race and because they were trailing behind, it meant that your respective government wanted to push much more into it to get there. It was really strange because when you won the space race in real life, that was kind of like when the interest started to wane. And then, and it's very interesting how, if it could have been different, that if because you wanted to be ahead of Russia, which is fair enough, it might have been a lot more media buzz about it and more of a competition.
I think if the Russians had, if in 1973-74, when they were starting to wind down the Apollo program, if the Russians were starting to put men close to the moon, I think we would have had similar reactions. But I think that was we knew what their capabilities were and that they didn't have anything that could get them close to the moon. And that's probably why it is. But you guys, you know who Billy Bragg is, right? Of course you do. Billy Bragg.
I've heard it. Remind me of Billy Bragg.
He's British folk singer.
Oh yeah.
He sings
he's
a song
political singer. Yeah.
He sings an amazing song. It's so haunting, and maybe you can play it. As you edit this together. It's called "The Space Race Is Over."
Okay.
And it's
I'll tell you what. I'll have it playing a bit in the background as you're talking now.
Yeah, it's a lament about how they went to the moon, never came back, and how he was a boy used to watch it. It is a beautiful song, very haunting. Very much like about what the expectations were for going into space and why we wanted to go and why we stopped going. And it's really magical. It's one of my favorite songs, actually. So it's great. So do you guys want to talk about we talked a little bit about the final episode. Do you want to save the end portion for a little later?
I'd just like to say one thing, that the science, this series, I did some digging into it. The science is, if this had continued in reality, a lot of the science in this would have existed of today.
Really?
That's interesting. The technology would, like the video phones. I mean, just things like that, especially the lander thing. You know what they flew around the moon in?
Yeah.
The lander, that is theoretical. They actually built one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, it's actually makes you wonder if they continue the series. A minor spoiler here that season 3 will be set in the mid-90s. If there is like a season 4 or season 5, whether it gets to our sort of our time now with the technology which has been obviously created in this alternate timeline. I think it's fascinating. But I mean, before obviously we will talk about the end of the season 2. Other aspects, I mean, it was one thing I'm surprised about is that why isn't this as well known as shows like The Expanse? Because I would put it on a level footing for the quality of the series. I don't, and it's a really good series. I never even heard of it until Tom mentioned it.
I think it's on Apple Plus, so it doesn't have it's not on one of the major streaming platforms or cable or anything like that.
That's right.
So
there's no advertising for that. I've not seen any advertising for that. I've seen probably the odd picture of it, but normally when something big comes out, it's on the buses here, or like the Mandalorian. It was plastered at But I've got to admit, this is one of the best series I've seen in the last 5 years.
Martin, I knew you'd love it. I knew you'd love it when I watched it before you. And you were great, Martin. I'll give you a due because you really went through it over the last few days. And
I've loved it, man.
It was really good. I know, yeah. And the last scene, which we'll talk about in a little while, I got goose pimples when I watched it. It was that good, and oh my God. And of course, I mean, like I said, we will go to that very shortly. But before we go to the end, I wanted to sort of ask any other information that you two wanted to share with us about how you think. I like the fact that.
Do you know my favourite?
Go on, Martin.
One of my favourites, he was in that jail base on his own. The Russian, the Soviet chauffeur, and the sense of paranoia and the death of his son. And he's stuck up there and they can't get it back. I mean, I was riveted at the end. I felt the emotion of that poor man. His son had died. And they can't, every rocket sending up's not working.
No,
and he's
trapped
stuck
up there.
in this tin can.
Yeah.
And feeling he must have been going. I mean, I loved his character, but the sense of paranoia, what he did to the Soviet, and even then when the Soviet helped him, he managed to stick a bug head. He got that in there, didn't he? So managed, that's how ended my seat. And one thing. Well, I didn't know this, that apparently if you get shot on the moon, like when that guy got shot, you burn inside your mate.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know that. I know that was interesting.
I don't think that's a hard fast. I think that happened to hit his oxygen, and the other guy that they shot didn't die, didn't explode.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So that wasn't consistent. I think it just happened to happen like that. But that doesn't mean that you explode.
I felt that with that guy. I thought, good guys, that happens here. And the other scene, when they shot the Stain in ass, and she said, well, the bullet goes from the sea, you better move. Heard that one over. You know that if you shoot a bullet on the moon, it'll round and hit you. But it was just brilliant.
That was really funny. That was a really funny moment there.
It had a good mix of comedy and everything. It had good serious drama. It had some very funny moments. It had lots of. I mean, obviously, that couple they adopted a daughter after they lost their son, and then they had an interesting story with her trying to track down her real life father. And then the wife had an affair with the son of the other character. I can't remember her name, not Molly, the other one. And you really didn't like that. That was one scene which you didn't like.
That was the only thing I could have jettisoned.
Gordo and his wife. I like Gordo. I love Gordo.
I'm terrible. I haven't memorized all the names
when
yet.
They both died at the end.
Gordo and what was her name?
This is what I'm saying. Tracy. Tracy. Yeah.
The thing with the affair, I didn't mind that she had an affair, but with a younger guy that was essentially almost a part of her family, like a kid.
They were that close.
Yeah, she was almost like an aunt, you know.
It was a bit odd.
I just fast forwarded that. I just couldn't watch it. I was like,
it didn't strike me as very realistic as to why she would have done that. I don't know. I just
Well,
I just felt
I think
think-
it did. I think it was realistic that she would do something like that because Ed
It were
kept
coming, that were coming. Because she said he didn't want to live through it again. You know, when he went on that training mission with Gordo and his plane turbos went out, she got all that pain again. She couldn't handle it. She didn't,
So
she
I
couldn't take it anymore.
expected
Yeah,
something like that, but not the way it came through. I was a little.
No.
I want to. I respect that that writers and artists make certain decisions when they put them into their work, but I was skeeved out a little bit by it.
Yeah.
There were no need for it, really, were there? There were no.
Yeah,
need for
I
it.
think it just didn't feel necessary to me.
Yeah, I think I could have been perfectly fine if it was somebody not like that, like not somebody that was sort of in her family almost, like in a way that she had helped raise. I felt that was strange. If it was some random other dude or something like that, I think it would have been better. But because I'm not, certainly not squeamish about the fact that she made some mistakes and
but I suppose it's showing that we all make mistakes sometimes in life. It's kind of like that's the way that the world, when nobody does anything perfect. All of us at some point something goes wrong for them, whatever. But it's the way you react to it, I suppose.
What did you make of her husband's character? Did you find it when she said to him that the world isn't black and white? There's a grey area. Do you think he was a selfish character?
I think that she has in this season showed a lot of a human side, maybe a side that she didn't have before, and I think she was losing her control of what was going on. But I think her timing was fantastically poor. To say that he's about to literally go on a combat mission. Essentially, she knows what it was, even though he couldn't tell her, and she throws this at him and I felt that was a really poor decision on her part, and showed that she kind of reached a point where she wasn't invested in that life of waiting by the phone to see if her husband was still alive anymore. She was kind of done with all that.
I mean, a lot of this sort of storyline was about the respective other halves waiting for the other people to come back. There's like months, if not years, where they're in missions and they're coming back, and how that could actually damage their relationships to a certain degree because it's such a long time that they're together.
Yeah,
I think in season 3, remember that fella at Bar Out?
Yeah,
I think there's an affair coming with him. I think that's the way they were going with that. I do. That rich fella, he bought the bar out as the friend.
Oh, you think? Well, that was Tracy's current husband.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be a.
Have we seen the current husband? We've only seen him briefly, haven't we? The actual current husband. I mean, he has been in the show.
He was the guy that bought the bar.
Yeah, I can't visualize his face. I remember when he said that I'll get it for buy it for $400,000, whatever he said. I remember that, but I just can't visualize him very much in the show apart from him being
kind of looked like a cowboy without a hat. I don't know.
Yeah,
decent guy.
I thought that was a bit silly when Gordo went round there and said, "I'm going to take your wife off you again and get her back."
I kind of love that.
I found that a bit.
Yeah. It felt very much like a Texas sort of tough guy thing to do. I don't know.
Right.
I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was kind of nice. I thought it was an interesting way to go over and do that. Because I think when he went there, even though he was an astronaut, and pretty much that's like the coolest guy in the world, an astronaut, he was a schlubby mess, right? He was still basically trying to come back. Tracy was remarried to this guy, and he shows up sort of with his 70s porno mustache and big belly. And
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
He's like, I'm going to take her back, and he's like, I don't think so, buddy. Yeah. But
it's funny how they made him look older with it, and like I said, the long hair and the mustache, it really did change his profile and stuff.
So two more characters I think I'd really like to touch on. Margot, the head of Mission Control?
Yeah, Margot. That's the one I was
Yes.
talking about. I like Margot.
And I thought her relationship with Sergei, the head of the Russian Mission Control, was really budding over the whole season, and they definitely had a chemistry.
Yeah, I was saying I think there was going to be a potential relationship forming up there of some sort. It looked like
and then at the end you see kind of. I don't know if he was a willing participant in what they were trying to get him to do, but they were trying to get him to turn her into a Russian asset.
Yeah, not an agent, and that's it. Some sort of positive thing for the Russian side of things.
Right.
I thought that was. I liked her character a lot. The way she. And what was her protege? Protege, I think that's that word. The Mexican character.
Almeida, or
because that I liked her character. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, she had a great turn when she basically had to run in with her boss.
Yes.
Sort of said some nasty things to him, and then they had a kind of coming together. But they had that was just some really interesting stuff going on there. But yeah, Margaret, I thought she had a lot of growth. She's still sort of narrow as far as her, her world. Her world's basically work. And whatnot. But the other interesting female character evolution, and I thought it was really neat to see so many women characters in positions of authority. I think there was like a scene where there was like something big was going down, and all the people in Mission Control in charge of it were four women.
I wondered whether that was partly done because it's more of a sort of contemporary television thing that women, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that women tend to be more in the front in current shows like Discovery rather than men. So I don't know whether you know what I mean. If it was made like 15 years ago, it might have been different.
Maybe, but I also think it had to do with the fact that since the Russians have pushed us to, bring women into the space program, it kind of filled up the pipeline of people in leadership positions more so.
Can I just say when I saw episode 2 and they'd gone back to the moon and it came out that when she came out of the lunar lander and it was a woman and I was at the edge of my seat, like the Russians just pulled a double whammy.
That's right. Yeah, like, it was.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
Both. Yeah, I thought that was clever.
Yeah.
So I suppose at this point we should sort of start talking about how the season ended, season 2. Martin, I think you literally seen it today, so it's all very fresh in your mind. How did you feel about how it all sort of ended up? Were you very pleased with it? Were you surprised? I was certainly surprised. Tell me what you both think.
I was saying to Tom earlier on, like the music defined this program for me. The music, it really did for each year. The music it defined the storyline to this.
Yeah.
But I found the episode, I think it was episode 9, where he looks out of the window at the Jamestown base and he sees a Russian with a Kalashnikov.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they shoot the bullet through the window and they're all climbing in through the window. And I was at the edge of my seat.
I couldn't believe it.
It's like, this is what Lunar War, this is what it'd be like, I suppose. On ground warfare in a spacesuit, and
I have to say a little bit that those scenes did remind me of certain scenes in Moonraker, the James Bond film. When they're going around with when the lasers are like in space, it just reminded me of Moonraker a little bit. I have to say, but that's the only thing I remember that.
I don't. They had the white M16s. I couldn't quite figure that out, and the Russians had like the normal Kalashnikovs.
Yeah,
but they did look cool.
Yeah,
all of it, even the guns.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the last scene, and I know that Tom's going to talk about the lyrics to the song that I listened to at the end. It's a great song by Nirvana. And first of all, okay, so the last scene we have, is it not Molly? What's the one with the glasses? It fades out and it goes into space.
Margot,
right. And then it's a really awesome scene. And it fades out, and it goes up above the Earth, and then you get to the moon, and you see the lights from the moon, and you think, oh, it's going to stop there. And it goes by, goes to space, then you start to see Mars, it goes into Mars, it goes down to the atmosphere, and you see a boot on Mars. You got the music going, and it says 1995. And the first thing I thought was, the Russians had beaten America again, and they were there first. But you told me, and I've not listened to all the lyrics yet, of, is it Come As You Are by Nirvana? I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, what did you think? What was it that made, what did you think?
I think that the timeline in this world happened. I think the Soviet Union falls apart in this timeline the same as it does in ours.
Right.
And that come as you are, as a friend, as I want you to be, without a gun. I think that is a nod to the Soviets or the Russians taking part in getting to the moon, in getting to Mars.
Yeah. Okay. I can see where you're coming from.
I think because the last season, if you remember the song they played it, and Martin probably remembers this because I saw it like yesterday. But the end of season 1, they played "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" by Tears for Fears.
That's right. That's it. Yeah.
Right. And so that forced. I mean, that's like a fun, bouncy song. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's talking about it's talking about everybody wanting to combat each other.
Yeah. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And in this sense, it's the opposite because that the "Come As You Are" is a fairly ominous sounding song.
Yeah.
And I think the lyrics are a little ironic and off the point, but taken literally, it speaks to potentially a I think collaboration, and I don't think it's going to be a warm, sunny collaboration, but I think my prediction is that the Soviet Union falls, and that the Russians are part of getting to Mars.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I hadn't noticed until you said was, as you say, at the end of both respective seasons, you have a song which has lyrics which is integral to the story itself, which is very. I actually thought that the "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" was just iconic, that it was now in the 80s at the end of the season 1, and because of course but of course it wasn't just that it was the era it was going into, it was based on the lyrics. So Tom, well spotted, mate, well done. I
think that's the plan, and I think that we're going to see a big evolution for a couple of characters. Ellen Waverly is going to be a big.
She's getting quite high up now, isn't she? She's going to be in Congress or whatever.
Reagan.
She's getting involved with
Congress.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought
that she could be the first female president as well, didn't they?
And
it could be.
I think it may mean that gay rights are going to be accelerated in this timeline.
Yeah, it could be. Obviously, she's gay. Yeah, exactly. And with their relationship. Yeah, that's an interesting one as well.
LGBTQ.
Yeah, in the 90s rather than now.
Yeah, and my prediction is that the young girl Almeida, who Margot brought back in.
Oh, she's going to be an astronaut someday. I know she is.
Maybe the first person on Mars. And
also like a Mexican as well.
I think she will be the one because she's an engineering genius, and I think she.
What if she creates some sort of
ship?
Maybe she has some.
To Mars.
I reckon she's going to have some huge technological breakthrough, and it's going to change the whole world. That's what. Yeah, I think Martin's right. I can see that.
I think she's got a big part to play, whether it'll be the same actor or not.
Tom, what do you think will happen to the older characters? Because they've been around since like the 60s.
Yeah, I think they're gonna age them.
90s now. So.
I think they're only 10 years older, so I think they're gonna. Ed's still probably gonna be around in some respect. Aged 10 years, maybe we're in a.
But there's going to be a big gap without Tracy and the other guy, the one that she was married. I mean, I'm going to miss those. Yeah, I'm going to miss those two because those two are very good characters. Maybe they'll bring you some.
The son. I think he'll be an astronaut. The son who had the affair with the mother.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in the Air Force? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was in the Air Force.
Maybe, I think.
Navy. Yeah.
And you've got Kelly too. I think she's going to probably be a big factor. But
now my Zoom is only saying we've got only about 3 minutes until we stop this part of the recording. So any last comments before we wrap this up? From you, Tom, first, if you want.
When season 3?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, like I said, I assume it's done quite well. I don't know whether it's a big success on Apple, but
It has been renewed. Definitely, it was renewed for season 3 before season 2 came out. That's why I was really excited about it.
Wow.
Brilliant. And is it in production yet? Do we know it? How's it going?
Yeah. Yep. I saw on Twitter the actress's what's her name? The African American actress plays a character named Poole. Her last name's Poole. Jackie Poole? No, what is her name?
I can't remember the names.
Astronaut Poole. We'll call her Astronaut Poole. She is. Like
yes. She did the fishing with the Sawyers and.
She was. She was the one. Yeah. She was good.
Chris. Her real name is Chris something. In the show, she's something Poole. Astronaut Poole. She's like the voice of the series on podcasts. There's some great podcasts that she hosts that talk about the inner workings of the series. I'm just really, I think it's like an undiscovered gem that I hope more people find and can watch, especially during those. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it during between now and when Loki comes out. You got 6 weeks.
Well, look, Tom, Martin, thank you so much for reviewing this. I had to cut you off slightly short because I've only got about a minute's recording left. I'm going to get cut out. But thank you very much for that. I will quickly mention it again once we come back into the news as well. But the way we do this, I have to shut it down. Otherwise, I'm going to lose recording. So, guys, we're going to go into the news now. And we'll be right back. Here we go.
Working.
Solar Sci-Fi
News.
Right, so from this week, I've not had a ton of news. We have had the Bad Batch, the latest Star Wars animated series, just released. Tom and I have both seen it. I know, Martin, you're about to see it. So let's quickly ask you, Tom, without giving too many spoilers, did you enjoy the first episode?
I did. I really did. What was cool about it is you didn't have to learn or figure out anything that was going on. It sort of really dovetailed nicely with things that we all know about in the Star Wars universe. So you just kind of jump in and
did you? I mean, this is a slight spoiler for Martin, but did you like the slight crossover with a young character that appeared on Rebels? I was quite surprised about that. Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
I did see that. Yeah. Not everybody will pick that up, but it was pretty cool. And I wonder if he's going to be involved at all later.
And you could tell this series was much more, as it had in the opening titles, it was like more of a continuation of Clone Wars. It did have the same guy doing the opening, it was slightly cheesy the way they did it, but they did that again with this series. And the animation sort of fitted more with the Clone Wars animation than the Rebels, which is slightly different the way they did that. Yep. But yeah, it was good. I quite enjoyed it. It's quite a long. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. It's quite a long first pilot episode. But yeah, it was good. Martin, have you got any news your end? Anything you want to tell us about? Are you there?
No, I've not heard that much. I'll go to my science fiction page.
I mean, I will say that from my end, there's
nothing. Really.
No, it's been very, very quiet. My end. I mean, actor Noel Clarke, who played Mickey. Did you hear about Noel Clarke, Mickey Smith? I mean, I know that Martin mentioned it. We talked about, Mickey Smith in Doctor Who. He's been involved with. There's been some controversy on the news, wasn't there, Martin, where someone said he's done something. I'm obviously not saying that he's done that, but it's a shame that these things come up. And of course, it was weird because you get headline news on the BBC, it actually comes on my watch, it pings me. Normally it's some big headline news about COVID or something, and then it said about actor Noel Clarke. I thought, what is Mickey Smith? What's he doing as a news flash? So I hope it's whatever these things have been put in front of him. I hope they prove not to be the truth. But we had this recently with the Star Wars character as well, or actor as well. So Martin, you're looking up stuff you're in. Anything you come up with?
No, but they have released the Phase 4 Marvel listing of stuff that's coming.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I saw another Marvel. I saw Thor: The Darkness, I think it was called, or Dark World, what it was called. I like that. I thought that was really good. It was surprising because it was filmed in the UK, in Glastonbury and places like that, which I thought was cool as well. And I really like the Thor character in Marvel. I think that the guy that plays him, he does a really, really good job. I'm really enjoying Marvel. I'm so surprised. I've enjoyed every single Marvel film I've seen so far, and Martin is the one that got me into that. So I'm really glad because I missed out on this. It's a good series. It's all well together. It's good continuity, and it's a great collection of this iconic Marvel thing. So yeah, thank you, Martin.
Cool. I'm glad you like that.
Cool. Martin, is there any news? He's just like, he's looking at a blank screen. There's nothing. There's just nothing to talk about at all. Come on, we're in a hole here. Dig us out. Dig us out of our hole.
Well, there's well, they're calling Wakanda Forever. That's Black Panther 2.
Okay.
We've got Shang-Chi coming this year, Black Widow, and the Eternals in November.
So these are all new. These are all new things because I've not seen any of these. Okay, so Phase 4 is a new set of stories which aren't necessarily connected to the others.
Well, they're all. There's a lot of the same. Yeah. Phase 4's got
They
Love and
released
Thunder.
pictures of a new Marvel series.
Miss
Marvel. They've released pictures of her. Yeah.
Because I know because the last film I saw with Thor had Loki in it again. And I like this character of Loki, and I know he's getting his own series, so I will definitely check that out. But I mean, so Marvel's got a lot going on. I've heard nothing about Star Trek. I've heard nothing about Star Wars, apart from most of the new series started. And it's just, I don't think I've ever remembered a period where there's just such a void for information, generally, for news.
Oh, I saw a picture. They released a picture from the Orville filming.
Oh, was there any info on that? Was it just like
the security officer woman that left in last series? She's on the ship. There was a picture released. Katana or something.
Yeah.
There was a picture of her. Yeah.
Oh, she's come back again.
There's been nothing this week.
It's been absolutely. It's
Christopher Eccleston's.
There's some news for me. Tenet came out on demand. That had been a movie that had been missed a lot because it was released in theaters, but it did come out on demand the other day, and I managed to catch Tenet. Did you guys see Tenet?
No.
Is it any good, that, Tom?
It is. The substance of choice will help you enjoy it more. I felt it was very. It felt like 30% of the movie was missing. I don't know if I liked that or not, or was kind of buying into it, but it is very strange, very almost Kubrick in its decision to not explain things. Right. But it was definitely a ride. I'm glad I took it, but I don't know. It was one of those things like, what the heck did I just sit through?
Yeah, it's funny how you certain things like that. It's I'm going through quite a few 80s comedy films at the moment, and some of them are terrible and some really work. It's strange, isn't it, how certain things work? But I'm a big film buff, and I like comedy, I like science fiction, I like good drama. But like I said, a lot of new films I've not seen recently. The most recent film I saw was the King Kong versus Godzilla, which was about a month ago. And that was all right. Yeah. And that's the most recent film I've seen, which is contemporary. I didn't see the Wonder Woman 1984, which I know that Martin saw that. I didn't really fancy that. But you quite enjoyed that, didn't you, Martin?
It was all right. I mean, I wouldn't have paid 15 quid to go see it at the cinema.
Yeah.
And they were charging £15 for it on Amazon.
There is quite a lot of...
I wouldn't have paid that for it. It's all right. It could have. The guy that played the Mando, he's like the villain in it.
Yeah, I know that. I heard about that.
He doesn't seem to have much of a personality. Him outside at Mando. His acting. I'm not being that probably get shot.
No. I mean,
but he seems quite boring, really, as an actor. I might be wrong, but in this film, he's just not in. You do realise you probably lost about 500 subscribers with that comment, don't you? So I'm sorry, I apologise.
I really liked him. I saw a movie. I think it's on the streaming services now, called Triple Frontier. It's not a sci-fi movie, but it's action sort of adventure movie where he is a special forces guy and they rob somebody. It was really, really good.
Right.
Very much enjoyed it. He's got a lot of charisma on screen. So
Go on, Martin.
I've got a bit of a shock. Michael suggested this afternoon. I got a message.
No.
He said, "What? Why don't I don't know if you remember this one, Tom? It's terrible. It's the worst series ever made." Tom, do you remember Manimal?
Oh,
God,
yeah,
oh no,
man.
his dog. We got to do a show. Are we
I
going to
do
do a
remember
show on
Manimal.
Manimal? Look, I mean, because I was thinking
Manimal.
about next week. I think to myself, I want to do Predator. We've still not done Predator, which would be a great film. But would you guys? And I'll have to. I don't know how I'm going to do the graphics for this one. Should
What
we do
episode is
Manimal?
this? What episode is this?
This is
What
episode
episode's
70.
this podcast?
Episode
What ep-
70. 70.
71. Let's do Manimal and tear it.
Oh, well, let's ask Tom as a co-host. Would you be all right with that?
I would be fine with it. I saw it. I'll watch some of the recaps of it. But man, that was a tough show to watch.
Don't forget-
I remember watching it back in the day when I was.
Do you know,
when I was a little
Tom, when we did Predator Versus, we covered it where, I mean, I watched a few clips of it on YouTube, and there was one where he went undercover as a parrot in a cage, listening to a villain's conversation. I am not making it up, Tom. He was a parrot in a cage, listening.
I remember that episode too, and I remember being as a kid being like, I'm going to bed. All right.
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
I mean, it was on BBC One in about 1984, 1985, and I seem to remember it was on about 7:30. And it was like they only made about 6 episodes, then it got trashed and cancelled. Simon McCorkindale. We'll talk about this next week. And I remember that.
Yeah, I will say though,
the special effects were good though, because I showed it to my nan when he used to hold his hand up and started going like that's turning into a Black Panther, and she found it really scary and icky. But that's the only thing. The only thing that was worth watching.
It had
was
a good
the change.
intro.
Yeah, the intro was
It
all
had
right.
a good intro. The intro were cool.
Well, that's great. It was great for. It was great for 25 seconds, and then that's when you want to turn it off.
Yeah.
And then, of course, don't forget the clothes automatically came back when he transformed back. So he was like a Black Panther, and then he was suddenly it'll be an eagle, and then he'd land, and then he'd go, and he'd be back. Yeah, very strange. We'll do that next week, guys.
It became
guys.
a tarantula in one episode.
Oh, God. We'll talk about it all next week.
did.
We're going to leave this week then
Yeah.
with, I thought 'cause it's space-based, we're going to do William Shatner. William Shatner's going to sing Rocket Man because it's very, very cheesy, but it's about space and it's quite funny. Thank you, guys. Sorry for the technical issues, but we've had some fun. We'll catch you next week on the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast. Live long and prosper.
All right,
Live
see
long
ya.
and prosper.
Bye.
Packed my bags. Last night, pre-flight. 0 hour. 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high. As a kite by then. Miss the earth so much. I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a tight flight. And I think it's going to be a long, long time. The touchdown brings me back again to find I'm not the man they think I am back home. Oh, no, I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. Burning out his fuse out here alone. I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown bring me round again and find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. Burning out his fuse out here alone. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise a kid. In fact, it's cold as hell. And there's no one there to raise them. If you did. a job. 5 days a week. Rocket Man. A rocket man. And I think it's going to be a long, long time till touchdown brings me around again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man burning out his fuse out here. Alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man burning out his fuse out here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be